On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about an album by Metal Church. What's it called?
Metal Church.
Yeah, that's the band. What's the album called?
Metal Church.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And today we're talking about, Metal Church by Metal Church, which features the song Metal Church.
Yes.
I mean, this is a tradition, I think, in music in general, but also dates back to perhaps the first heavy metal album, Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath, featuring the song Black Sabbath.
Right.
So this is perhaps a time-honored tradition in metal in general. And I was surprised by this album. We'll talk more about it later, but I was expecting it to be a lot sillier than it was. Not that this is like a super serious
There's a
thing.
silly moment or two on here.
Yes, but I was expecting this to lean way heavier into like the power metal cheese. But this is a proto power metal, if anything.
Right. This is what power metal looks at when they go, oh, that's the kind of band I want to be.
Yeah, this was before, power metal really
This
became its own. Yeah, it's before it became its own genre. This is, also in the area, the birth of thrash metal and that sort of thing. Lars Ulrich auditioned to be a member of this band at one point.
Because they started out in the Bay Area. And the first year they were a band, they were in the Bay Area. Then they moved to Washington.
Yes, they moved to they were in the Seattle area.
Area, yeah.
Because they ended up later being kind of an influence on like Alice in Chains and whatnot.
Yep, Alice in Chains and Sanctuary and Forced Entry and things like that.
They were very big and very present in that area and that scene. And people coming up wanting to play music like this, everybody knew Metal Church.
Right.
I imagine.
And Queensryche.
We'll talk more about Metal Church in a bit. First, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's been a weird week.
Yeah, it's felt kind of weird.
Yeah.
Why has it been weird for you, if you want to elucidate?
Well, I have I have a 14-year-old child.
Yes.
The 14-year-old child, worked really hard to study for the test and got their permit, their driver's permit.
Okay.
Very happy. Now I decided, hey, okay, we're going to teach you to drive.
Yes.
And she said, yay, finally, you're going to do that because it's been several months.
Yes.
And so we went out to this abandoned area outside of town, the 55th. That's where they were supposed to build all those houses, and lawsuits ensued. But thankfully, there's no houses there, and we could go drive.
There's no houses and lots of roads.
Yeah. So we drove around, and they really got the hang of it. And then the second day, we drove around, and they said, we're going to try on the highway, a small strip of highway this time, and see what you can do. It's 55 here, and they're driving. They're kind of nervous, but they're getting it. And we got into town. We drove around in town a little bit. Parked in front of the house, like, this is great. You're doing well. 2 days later, we're in the living room, and they say, hey, Dad, I want a soda and a candy bar. Can we drive to Come and Go gas station? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? There's, it's Saturday night, but it's after 8.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of cars out on the street. I think this would be nice. It'd be a little bit in the nighttime, almost nighttime.
Yeah,
driving.
it's late evening at that point.
Yeah.
It's not dark yet.
Sure. So we drive to the Come and Go, and my car is now totaled. Yeah.
This is the first time hearing of this.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, they're pulling out, and this other couple is coming the other way, and instead of, they let off the brake a little bit to go. I said, no, there's a car coming, and instead of putting the foot back down on the brake,
foot went on the accelerator.
And T-boned this oncoming car. Yeah, it was pretty bad, and they were pissed. They were yelling, cussing at us. I'm staying, we're going to get out. I said, sorry, new driver, I'm really, really sorry about this, and I got back in the car, because what am I going to do? Just stand out there and get yelled at? I have no argument here. We're in the wrong.
Yeah.
So,
what do you do?
Yeah, we just wait for the car. I called the cops and the ambulance and a fire truck, and police came, and we were out there for about an hour and a half, and eventually they calmed down.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cussing. I felt terrible. I still feel terrible. Apparently, they just bought the car.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, it was terrible. So, so I drove a rental here today.
Oh well,
I get a rental for 30 days until they come back and tell me whether, hey, this could actually be fixed, or the 99%
chance possibility is
that they're gonna come back and say, "Oh, that's your car's fucking totaled."
Yeah, you're done.
I get a rock chip in the windshield, and that fucking car is totaled.
Could be.
Yeah, it's a 2006.
Okay.
It's a luxury car, technically, but...
For 2006.
Yeah, for 2006.
It's not too much older than mine. Mine's a 2010.
Right.
But,
yeah, but my car is wrecked.
Yeah.
Yours is not.
That's true. My car is not wrecked at the moment. But that's terrible, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so they got a job. So the 14-year-old drove for the first time, demolished 2 cars for the first time, and also took their first order in a McDonald's drive-thru for the first time.
That's a big rough week there.
It is a big rough week.
That's not super great. I've never gotten into a crash with another vehicle.
Really?
I did, however, my first car, which was a early 2000s Pontiac Sunfire.
Yes, as we've discussed. Most of the stories that involve a Sunfire, in my experience, there's a demolishment.
Yeah, there's usually.
At some point.
This wasn't terribly damaging. Because I did not. Both of the times, there were 2 different Sunfires that I have driven. Both of them were totaled. Mm-hmm. Neither time was I in the vehicle. But with that second one, I was pulling out of my parents' driveway and driving down the road.
But not in the Sunfire.
I was in.
Oh, you were?
I was in the Sunfire.
I thought you were in a truck and then you hit the Sunfire.
No, I was not even in the same city when these cars were totaled.
Okay.
Maybe I'll talk about them more after I get done with this story. But I was looking at my iPod. I was driving to school and I was selecting my music for the morning and drifted just a little too far over into the right-hand shoulder of this dirt road past neighbor's house.
Sure.
And completely clipped and nearly destroyed my own right-hand mirror on somebody's mailbox.
Sure.
The mailbox, not a fucking scratch. Not a dent, not so much as a dent in that mailbox, which is great because destroying that's technically a federal crime if on purpose. I can't imagine if it's an accident.
But as I recall, the Pontiac Sunfire is made of slightly reinforced Reynolds wrap.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the replacement mirror was like $30 or something. Mm-hmm. It was nothing, but I had a broken mirror for a little while. At least I feel like it was nothing, but I don't think I paid for that. I think my dad was just like, I'll go and find one online. It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
But no, the totaling incidents, the first Sunfire, which had gone through both of my sisters, it was their first car. So it was about to be my first car. I was taking my driver's license test in like a month. It was early March. There was a lot of ice on the roads in Bismarck. My dad was driving it down around in Bismarck. Came up to a stop sign, hit the brakes, hit a big old patch of black ice, and slid right into the intersection where he got T-boned.
Oh no! And you ran over black guys?
Oh God, no!
Terrible.
No, but he hit a patch of ice. Uh-oh.
There goes our headphones.
There it goes. But he hit a patch of ice and got just fucking T-boned, and the car was just instantly totaled, basically.
Sure.
He was fine as far as I remember. And then the second Sunfire that got totaled was up here in Minot. My sister Hannah was driving it because her car was getting fixed in Washburn. And so we just swapped for the week, basically. I was driving her car. She was driving my car.
Sure.
Because it didn't take very long to fix. And so, but she was working up here and doing school at the same time, so she couldn't come back down and get it. So anyway, again, ice-related incident coming down a hill.
It was 8th Street, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, I believe it was 8th Street. Coming down this very steep hill on 8th Street, slid, swung around, tires hit the curb. She's facing the wrong way, looking up the hill on the wrong side of the road. But she's like, okay, all right, that's fine. To my recollection, anyway, she's listening to this. So,
I feel like 8th Street is one of those, if you live on 8th Street and you go to college at MSU, you still get there by going up the hill.
Yeah.
You don't go down the hill.
8th Street is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
But so she's sitting there calming herself down. And then another car, which I believe at this point may have been another Pontiac Sunfire of the same year. Another Pontiac Sunfire of the same year was involved in this altercation by the end. But another vehicle hit the same patch of ice and did basically the same move.
Sure.
And slammed into the front end of the car. Somehow my Sunfire ends up maybe just Newton's laws working in weird ways, flipping the other way around. I think something like that. Anyways, a third car came down and both ends of my vehicle got smashed.
Wow.
Essentially.
Was it another Sunfire?
I don't think so. I think there was only one other Sunfire of the same make and model, but
in the world,
in the world, they're all gone now.
Yeah. I remember giving one away.
The world is better off for it.
We gave one away.
Who was the sorry person that had to accept a Pontiac Sunfire as a gift?
Some schlub. It was it was Clear Channel when I worked for Clear. Before they were called. What are they called now?
iHeart.
iHeart, right. iHeart Media. It was Clear Channel. It was when we first started. The radio stations here in Minot first became part of Clear Channel. That year, in each little town, they gave away a Pontiac Sunfire.
Oh, boy.
And I remember seeing it because, got to take us all out so we can see it, so we can talk about it on the radio because, that's part of it. And I remember looking at it going, this is fucking janky as fuck.
Yeah. I remember seeing a while ago, I think it was on Reddit. It was an Ask Reddit thread of PT Cruiser owners. Yeah. What horrible tragedy burdened you with your vehicle?
Because we know one did. We're just wondering which one did you happen on?
What was it? What happened that caused you to be burdened with this vehicle?
Look at the PT Cruiser. That looks kind of interesting if I squint at it and don't get near it.
It kind of looks like someone threw up on a classic car from the 20s. On a classic luxury vehicle from the 1920s. Somebody threw up on it.
They threw up 35 cents worth of plastic.
The late 90s and early 2000s were a bad time for cars.
Yeah.
I don't know, very soon after that period was over of car design, I feel like everybody was like, wow, those cars are really ugly. Mm-hmm. I don't know how did people think they looked good at the time? Because there are so many cars from the late 90s and early 2000s that I look at and go, wow, that's fucking ugly as hell.
I feel like that was the year of motor company executives who didn't have any real friends. We're going to do this. Okay, I say we do this. Anybody object? No. Okay.
I don't want to get fired. I will say yes. This is a fine vehicle.
This car is ugly and it's shit all the way bumper to bumper. Yeah, but
what are you gonna do? Look at Mustangs from the late 90s.
Sure.
It's a sad looking vehicle.
Totally.
Early 2000s.
That happened to the 80s as well. The Mustang from the 1980s was also
kind of not 70s, late 60s into the 70s
was a primo
Mustangs.
Yeah.
Good looking cars.
Yeah.
But there was a long period of time where the Mustang was just not a good looking vehicle.
Or the Chevy Nova. Remember the Nova in the late 60s and early 70s?
I've probably seen pictures of it.
Basically a muscle car.
Yeah.
The 1984 Nova, it made your the Honda Civic look like a
like a real aggressive, manly sort of car.
Right, it did.
Very macho. I think the Nova might have been one of the patrol cars in the first Mad Max.
Really?
One of the yellow patrol cars. Mm-hmm. Which is not nearly as cool as the Interceptor, but no car, in my opinion, comes anywhere as close to being as cool as the the Interceptor in the Mad Max series, which breaks my heart every time I watch Fury Road, and it gets fucking demolished in the first 2 minutes of that movie. It's like, come on.
How many times have you watched that now?
Fury Road? I don't know.
I feel like I should watch it again.
I haven't kept track. It's been a little while since I've watched Fury Road. I should also watch it again here at some point. But,
it's weird. It's one of those movies I'd like to show to my youngest child, who's going to be 10 here in a couple of weeks.
Fury Road.
I feel like it should be fine.
Yeah. Fury Road's not quite as horrific, generally speaking, as like Road Warrior or the 80s or the first one.
And the funny thing about it is I'm thinking, I wonder if he can stay with it. There's really no plot. And then it dawns on me, are you shitting me?
Of course he'll be able to stay with it.
He's going to be...
The reason there's no plot is because it's all action.
It's just one action scene. That's all the movie is.
With a small lull in the middle for Charlize Theron to cry because everyone she's ever known is dead except for these old ladies.
Right. And then let's get back to some action.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't this a racing scene? Oh, it is now again? Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. So there's a little lull in the middle when they're about to all get on motorcycles and ride across a giant desert plain. Then Max is just like, I have a better idea. And then it goes straight back to the action and some old ladies killing some mutant freaks, basically. Like, God, I fucking love Fury Road so much. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
The first Mad Max is kind of awkward. Mm-hmm. It's kind of an awkward
from
movie.
79,
yeah.
And then Road Warrior.
Road Warrior
awesome.
knows exactly what it is.
Right.
Although, to paraphrase the guys from Red Letter Media, because they were talking about Road Warrior, and they're just kind of like, this movie's kind of obsolete now. Or it's like there are so many movies that attempted to imitate Road Warrior for such a long time.
Yeah.
There were so many like bad B movies that failures. Put Mad Max like raiders into it and, biker gangs and stuff into it. And then the only movie that could top Road Warrior was another Mad Max movie.
Sure.
Thunderdome, Thunderdome's fine. It's not a bad movie, but like it's Fury Road and Road Warrior are much more direct comparisons to each other,
right?
Because like people used to say about Road Warrior that it's one big chase scene, and it really isn't.
No.
There's a lot of downtime in the middle where he's hanging out at the gas plant, basically, and Lord Humongous shows up and does his thing.
The thing I figure here's who my son is. I'm going to show him Fury Road, and he's going to be like 2 seconds in, he's going to go, is that Venom?
Yes, it is.
It is Venom, yeah.
It is. And he does an Australian accent for about 2 seconds and then gives up. Not that he talks all that much,
right.
But like Tom Hardy does, like the opening scene was like, my name is Max. He does an Australian accent. And then every other time he talks in the movie after that, it's just whatever came out of Tom Hardy's throat at that point.
I feel like that's kind of the defining thing of his career. We're going to let Tom Hardy make a weird voice.
Yeah. I like Bane. I like his Bane voice. I like how he's kind of like the mask muffles it a lot, obviously, but like he's sort of this kind of gives off this very sort of stuffy kind of erudite British sort of voice, like a very kind of posh British voice, with the obviously with the mask muffling it a lot, but like,
which is weird because in the comic books he's
Bane
Cuban.
Is Central American. Yeah, he's like or Central
Costa
American,
Rican, something like that. Yeah,
it's a fake country. Yeah. He's from a fake country,
right?
But it is in Central America. But yeah, this version
like Segovia.
It's on that order.
Or Czechoslovakia. Fake.
What the hell is the name of Latveria?
Latveria?
Where
Doom.
Dr. Doom is from. Dr. Doom?
Yeah, Dr. Doom.
That's where he's from, which is just funny to me because there's Latvia.
Yeah.
You just kind of changed it a little bit.
Right. Latveria.
Yeah, it's not Latvia, it's Latveria. It's Eastern Europe somewhere. Sure. But it's I don't know. It's better than Tom Hardy trying to do his approximation of a Central American accent, which would be weird.
Right. Yeah, that would also be weird. Yeah.
I'm just happy that they went with a characterization of Bane that wasn't a huge dumb brute.
Yeah, like they did in
the Poison Ivy. What the fuck is Batman and Robin?
Right.
Is the movie with Poison Ivy. Yeah, he's just a brainless brute when Bane is one of one of the smartest characters in like Batman comics. Like he's, as far as like non-superpowered people, he's one of the smartest there is. And he just takes a shitload of drugs to make him gigantic.
Which is what the mask is.
Yeah, that's in the... And he's got like tanks and stuff too that are filled with... What the hell is it called?
Latveria.
Latveria. Tanks filled with Latveria. I can't remember what he takes. What it's called. It might be called Venom, to be honest.
Really?
But it's DC, so it's different.
Sure.
My brother-in-law is yelling at me right now. I don't remember what it's called. I don't remember. I'm not really a comic book person. Everything I know about comic books is just kind of by osmosis for the most part. But anyway, have I done anything in the last week that's worth talking about? Not really, no.
No?
I don't think I've really done much of anything.
Another cool thing happened to me today, kind of, because I was on a waiting list to get a rental car. So I had no car over the weekend, which is fine. Where am I going? So
the moon
in my rental car. So a guy showed up today, driving, because Enterprise will pick you up.
Yeah.
So they came to pick me up. And the guy pulls up in front of the house, and he's looking at a thing. He's looking at houses. So he's looking for me. And I went out there, and then I waved. I only waved back, and I get in the car, and I look at him. He's wearing a mask, and underneath that is a Mayhem T-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Maybe nice.
Yeah, it turns out, yes, nice.
Okay.
There
are two kinds of Mayhem fan.
There are two kinds of Mayhem. I think we did discuss that. I said, so you like black metal? I said, hello, black metal. It's my favorite thing. And so we're talking. I don't think he got that excited. He didn't freak out or anything.
That would be weird.
He was driving a car, so I was very glad that he didn't freak out. But yeah, we talked about metal all the way from my house to
wherever the Enterprise
in South Broadway
place is. What is a warehouse, garage, agency?
What?
Where they have the cars?
I don't know where they keep the cars. It's not on site.
Okay.
Because the site is a tiny little building that used to be a laundromat.
Okay.
And there's 2 desks and a reception area, and that's all that's in that whole building. It's tiny.
Somewhere else is a garage.
And I think that's where this dude went to after. Because it turns out the car he picked me up in was my car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was pretty, that's the shortest drive I've ever taken.
I mean,
it's like, cool.
You can have a conversation. Yeah.
I'm glad we got to bond all the way from my house to
I see.
Enterprise.
Like, that's the thing with me and like rideshare stuff. Now, I don't use Uber or Lyft very often.
Right.
But it's like I don't want to have a conversation usually. Every Lyft ride I've ever taken by myself, I'm just like, all right, here's where I'm going. And then
But the thing is,
silence.
on Lyft, you don't have to tell them where you're going. They already know when they get
but
there.
if they have questions for me or anything like that, I will answer them. But other than that, I don't engage in conversation unless they're trying to talk with me, and I'll answer the questions and just not really engage. I want to go home. I don't want to have a conversation.
Normally I'm the same, but this is one of those rare cases.
Well, yeah.
If I want to talk to this guy.
If I saw someone wearing a cattle decapitation shirt, I'd be like, fuck yeah, this dude's hopefully pretty rad.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if someone likes cattle decapitation, but like doesn't know what kind of people they are,
right?
Then, that could be that sort of situation.
Sure.
There are a lot of good people who like Mayhem who are 100% aware that there's a lot of people in or around that band that suck and are just like, I just like the music.
Sure.
I have to wonder how many like chuds listen to Cattle Decapitation without realizing like the guys in this band would hate you.
Yeah.
Also, the word chud. I like the word chud.
I saw the movie back in 1981 or 82.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Yes.
I think I've watched the Mystery Science Theater episode on that, but I don't think I've watched the movie itself.
Caution hazardous underground disposal.
Yeah. But like if you call someone a chud, people know exactly the kind of person you're talking about, though. I think it conjures the exact imagery pretty precisely. I like the term.
You like cattle decapitation? Yeah, I love them. I'm going to eat this steak for Hitler.
Somewhere Travis Ryan is going like,
I don't know why I'm angry right now.
Why am I mad?
The universe is pissing me off for a brief moment.
I mean, I feel like that's just Travis Ryan most of the time. He seems like
he does seem like a chill dude.
A pretty chill dude, but you know, I know it's only been like a little over a year. I want another Cattle Decap album.
Yeah, I hear you.
What else have they been doing? They probably have new shit ready to go. Come on.
That'd be great.
Come on.
All right. Actually, listen to the new Cannibal Corpse album.
I have not listened to that yet.
It's actually we talked about it this morning in the Jeep Compass.
Okay.
We talked about and he says, yeah, apparently for some reason they have a new guitar player. Said, oh, let me tell you.
Let me tell you about Pat.
You know who Pat O'Brien is?
Let me tell you what happened to Pat O'Brien. But let's talk about this here.
Let's talk about Metal Church
that we came here to talk about. Metal Church, the album Metal Church by the band Metal Church. This is their first full length album.
Yes,
1984. They've been around for a little bit. This is very much a heavy metal album.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff in here that's kind of the near to the roots of other genres that would flower.
Thrash.
Yeah, this is proto thrash. Parts of it sort of proto power metal.
Right.
People would hear this and things would develop a little bit more. This was that time period of heavy metal where things were starting to develop after barely a decade of existence. Essentially, if that first Sabbath album is the birth of heavy metal, you go throughout the 70s where, there's people are figuring out what heavy metal is, but you can all categorize that as just heavy metal, basically.
I feel like they figured out what heavy metal was in England in 1977.
Which album was what?
Could be Iron Maiden.
Okay, yeah.
Recording their first album.
Yeah, that's
no, this is what heavy metal is.
Codified,
right.
Like you listen to that 100%. It can't be anything else.
It can't be more metal than this. And then other bands were like, hold my beer and
yep, let's here we go.
Yeah.
And just diving in after that. Yeah. But so you mentioned this band to me several years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Whenever we did Manowar, I think was the first time you mentioned Metal Church to me. And for some reason, in my head, I was thinking that Metal Church would be more like Manowar, more like a power metal band of everything's very cheesy and silly, and it's like a
case.
80s fantasy B movie, like a Conan the Barbarian ripoff. This is very much not the case. There's a lot of style here. There's a lot of atmosphere in parts.
I love how it's recorded too. I love the fact
this is a good sounding album.
Yeah, it's a great sounding. It sounded like it was like recorded. It's just something about it is willfully bleak, just in the recording itself.
It's also very tightly, the instrumentation is very tight.
Oh, very good.
It's not messy at all.
No.
Which it easily could have been for this period of heavy metal. But they were dialed in. They were ready to go.
I think Kurt Vanderhoof is kind of a slave driver when it comes to stuff like that.
A power slave driver? It's the Iron Maiden joke.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway.
It certainly is.
But yeah, this sounds. What's the singer's name on this album again?
David Wayne.
David Wayne. Yes, not related to Bruce.
Not related to Bruce Wayne at all.
Wayne.
Or Dickinson.
Or Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows if you have the same first name as somebody,
Right.
that means you're related.
Yeah.
But he ended up leaving the band in 1988, as I recall.
He did, and he came back for a brief period in the early 2000s.
Yes.
And then he died tragically in a car wreck.
Yes. And I believe... Had he left the band again before he passed away in the car wreck?
Maybe.
There was somebody who quit because they were diabetic and needed to take care of themselves. I can't remember if that was him or if it was someone else. They have a very long list of former band members.
Right, and at least 3 of them are dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been around long enough. They have not had a very consistent lineup.
Right, they formed in 1980. They had like 3 singers until David came on.
Just decided...
Yeah,
we're gonna go steady for a little while. There's a lot of bands, where God, I gotta fix this. I can't.
You can't let this go. You know, I think it's a little bit odd. Anyway, I mean, if you really think about it, the fact that we're wearing headphones at all, considering the fact that we are sitting next to each other.
Yeah, that's. Are you getting that?
I'm hearing that.
Okay,
too. But it comes and goes.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm wearing it because I prefer to, for whatever reason, I
hear you. I feel more comfortable because of my training. I mean, it comes with the training.
And
you
also
have headphones on when you.
It helps me. It serves a much more. It serves a utility for me of. If I don't talk, if I can't hear myself in the monitor while I'm recording something, I end up like straining my voice more.
You end up screaming.
Yeah. Or not.
Just screaming at the top of your voice.
Yes, exactly. But
every word.
It's something that I've noticed where I end up talking louder for whatever reason if I'm not wearing headphones, and end up, getting much more hoarse by the end of it. What the fuck is the issue?
I don't know, but it seems to be coming and going. And now, okay, turn unplugged it, and you plugged it back in, and now it seems fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's nothing but smooth sailing here on out.
Yeah, it's true. It's a fact.
Nothing but rainbows and unicorns from this day forward.
True facts about life in the world. But anyway, I like being able to hear myself.
Sure.
We were talking about singers and stuff. There's a number of these like early heavy metal bands, and this continued, but I feel like there's a lot of bands where there's a bunch of instrumentalists getting together and then they just cannot find a singer for like a couple of years.
Sure.
And they have a singer for like a month and then get a different singer and they get a different singer. They just can't find somebody. And I wonder what the reason. I feel like I've seen that in a lot of like lineup lists, looking at it, the chart on Wikipedia, the color coded chart.
It's not easy, really, unless you're friends with the singer, which a lot of times instrumentalists aren't friends with the singer because those are different kinds of people.
Yeah, they're different realms, basically.
Sure. Yeah, and I remember I was in a band. We were sort of in our fledgling days, and we thought there was 3 of us, and I thought, maybe I'll sing, and then I thought, but I really love to do complicated guitar parts.
That's difficult to sing at the same time.
As much as I would love to sing, I would love to maybe hang back and play cool leads and rhythm parts and stuff like that. And I remember we auditioned a dude named Ben who was gonna sing, and he did some sort of weird I want to sing for your metal band. We're like, okay, we'll call you.
We'll call you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. And then we later decided, let's just
gonna get one. Yeah.
It's
just, hey, you can do it. You can Mastodon it. Mm-hmm. Everybody sings.
Well,
except for Bill.
Who's
the lead singer of Mastodon? Yes.
Not Bill.
It's not Bill. I know that much.
And I know our drummer wouldn't have been. He did not have the voice of an angel.
He didn't have the voice of Jesus mixed with Fergie.
He could
like Mr.
flam those drums.
He sure could flickety flam those drums.
And
though.
he still does to this day down in Dallas, Texas. But also he works in a bank.
Hey,
this is not a singer.
Got to make the money somehow.
You do.
And now we just there. I gotta.
I just can't. We're almost done with it, man. We're almost there. Oh, he's taking his headphones off.
Just
and he's
can't
gonna
do it.
He's gotta solve this problem. Oh, you're not. You're
I'm tired of hearing it. So
okay. So now we're just
off.
gonna do this, right?
Yep.
Are we gonna talk real loud at each other?
Yes.
Hi, Cam.
Okay, stop. I have neighbors.
It's not late.
I don't care. I don't want to be that guy even at 7:51.
Imagine they're sitting over there eating dinner thinking, it sounds like they might be arguing about something, but I don't think they are arguing about something.
I think it's just a couple of dickheads. And they're right.
They're right. They're not wrong.
So this album, slap?
It slaps, yes.
It does indeed slap.
I mean,
it doesn't always slap.
No, there are songs I don't care for on this, actually. There are at least 2 songs that I didn't care for. The Hitman. I didn't care for the song. Is it In Blood? Is that what it's called? In the Blood?
I'm trying to look it up right now. Spotify's not loading.
But I mean, there are some great songs on this.
Yeah. There's one that really reminds me of what is the song on Number of the Beast? The last song on Number of the Beast. What's it called?
The last song on Number of the Beast is talking about oh my God, it's a song about execution.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Gods of Wrath. Reminds you of oh my God, what's in the song?
Yeah. My phone tells me there's no internet connection available, which is a straight up lie.
What is the name of the last song on Number of the Beast?
Just give me a second. Now it's working. Number of the Beast. Album. Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Good Lord. One of the most famous metal songs ever, and it's like can't fucking think of it.
I hear you.
But yeah, it Gods of Wrath reminds me of Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Yeah, it's also a 6.5 minute long song, but yeah.
It's got that moody opening, and the vocals remind me of Bruce Dickinson a lot of the time. He tends to go a lot higher than Bruce Dickinson does.
Right.
There's some screeches in here practically. Yeah. It's not in the category of harsh vocals.
He goes a lot. Yeah, he does go a bit rougher than Bruce sometimes.
Yeah. He goes rough, but it's not a scream or a screech like you would hear in later extreme metal. Basically,
there's some screeching in there, I think.
But it's not like it's not black metal screeches.
No, it's not.
It's not a high pitched scream. It's just regular vocal. Yeah, black metal scritches,
which is what
what you give your little kitty.
Yeah, exactly.
You give your little kitty the scritches. It's those cats that look like they're wearing corpse paint.
Yeah,
black and white cats. Hell yeah. But he's got a lot of range. This guy.
Yeah.
There's one song where also he gets kind of down low, and I don't remember what that was. I don't remember. I wasn't paying too much attention to a lot of the song titles. I was just having a good time.
Sure.
I was just having fun.
You'll note the title track and / eponymous track, Metal Church in the middle section. Every time I hear a song by another band you and I also enjoy listening to, I hear the Metal Church dual guitar. Is
that Mastodon?
Yeah. It's like Blood and Thunder.
Yep, they do that.
Seems borrowed from Metal Church, but
I mean everything's derivative at this point. Nothing's original at this point. Mm-hmm. Nobody's originated a technique. Gojira didn't originate the pick scrape.
No.
Which spoilers. That's what we're talking about Gojira next week.
Sweet.
We're gonna do the new Gojira album.
Sweet, which I love, by the way.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it is good. The guy, my driver today. I wish I had got his name. I should have, because I feel like he's somebody I could find online and go, "Hey, dude, what'd you think of that shit?" And but he says, "What do you think about Alcest?" He asked me.
Oh,
I'm like, well, I like Alcest. He said, "What do you think about other French metal like that?" I'm like,
Gojira?
Gojira is what I said.
That's the only other band?
And he had sort of, like a sad, he doesn't know about the French black metal. I was like, I don't know about the French black metal.
I'm sure they're out there. Technically at this point, Burzum is French black metal.
True.
I don't know if Burzum is technically black metal at this point. Whatever the most recent stuff that Varg has done, it's kind of
sort of depressing electronica.
Transcended. Yeah.
It's actually pretty good, but
That's the thing about Varg Vikernes. He's a piece of shit, but he makes good music.
Which is, I believe, the exact same thing that my driver said.
He's just a despicable person, but God damn it, he can make good music.
Right.
It's a pain in the ass. But anyway, hey, there it is. What? I said it. I said the word.
Oh, anyway.
My favorite vocal crutch.
Sure.
I didn't really look up a score too much on this one. Couldn't really find, it wasn't on the Wikipedia page, so I didn't bother. I think it's one of the cases of like old kind of classic albums. If people do reviews of them, they don't attach a score to it. They're not there to give it a rating.
This is beyond score. This is
a classic thing. I'm just going to recommend you listen to this or not listen to it. Because nobody's looking at Metal Church going like, should I listen to Metal Church? What's their Metacritic rating?
Do you think maybe they'll make it as a band?
Yeah, like it's those sort of metrics don't really apply anymore. They're still around. They're still their most recent album came out in 2015, which I mean it's not the steadiest output necessarily, but
I have that on CD.
As far as they haven't their Wikipedia page says is. It doesn't say was.
Right.
So they're, I imagine still.
I know Kurt retired for a while and went the route of, what's his name? Where he just wrote the music and sent a band out to do it.
Oh, there's a couple different people that do that.
He didn't want it because he went on a tour. He just wanted to, hey, here's the music that I make. And then I'm going to go play with my grandkids.
Yeah, you guys, I mean, that's what, they're younger fellows, but that's what Will Putney does for Fit for an Autopsy.
Yes.
Is he just
that's what I was thinking of.
Writes and produces, and then the band goes out and performs. And it seems to be a pretty good arrangement.
Right.
But
and I know Kurt, another story about Kurt, on the, was it And Justice for All tour of Metallica? It might have been.
Yeah, because these guys toured with Metallica for a while.
I believe so. And I think when they were touring with them at one point, when I saw Metallica here in Minot, the Cult opened for them. Okay. If you know who that is.
I am familiar with the name.
Right. You may have heard the song Firewoman.
Probably. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure we have at least one of their songs on the Zoo.
We do. That song.
Yes.
Anyway, on another leg of the tour is Metal Church touring with them, and James got too close to a pyrotechnic and set his arm on fire.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And so he had to have the whole thing wrapped up and bandaged. I mean, it was like 3rd-degree burns going on his arm and left shoulder. And so Kurt came out and played rhythm guitar for Metallica for like the rest of the tour.
Who sang?
James.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, that
it didn't burn his throat.
Yeah, the burned arm wouldn't prevent James Hetfield from singing.
Can you still sing, James? No, arm.
Instead, it was James. Can you still sing?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I love compilations of like musicians who do that sort of thing. Like there's Michael Jackson ones.
Sure.
The compilations of like weird
David
noises.
Lee Roth.
Yeah. Like there's several James Hetfield.
Yeah. There's a soundboard. You go to the website and you can just push.
Pick whichever one you want.
Right.
That's great. Now I'm thinking of that AI generated Metallica song I showed you a while ago.
Right, that was great.
That was pretty good. I'm the sun. I'm insane. So what's your favorite song on this?
It might be Gods of Wrath, and it might be Metal Church. Might be my favorite song on this.
They're both good tracks.
Both good tracks. What's the opening song?
Not Metal Church.
No.
It's the one before Metal Church. It is Beyond the Black.
Beyond the Black.
I like Beyond the Black as well.
Yeah, I love that song.
I like the lyrical imagery in that as well, as talking about like basically it's a post-apocalyptic sort of wasteland kind of song of like there's a big nuclear war and the human race has been destroyed. And
well, I mean, it says that in a sort of a voice.
Yeah, that's speech at the beginning. A little sound bite at the beginning.
You're figuring maybe they've got an interceptor.
Yes, it could be Mad Max. I wrote my favorite. I like Battalions.
I like Battalions as well. Battalions is kind of the song where the album comes back for me.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah.
There's a couple songs in the middle there, whatever.
Yeah. My favorite Nightmare is pretty cool. It's okay. It's kind of weird, but Battalions, that's fun.
Yeah, it comes back and it's I mean, they quote Conan the Barbarian in there, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Hear the lamentations of the women. It's, you know, sort of a kind of a fantasy sort of warfare kind of song, which I think that more than that song, there's one other one, the name of which I cannot think of, but those are where you can see the power metal where like people would pick up on stuff in those songs and it would evolve into its own thing.
And their version of Deep Purple's Highway Star.
Highway Star. That's a good cover.
Yeah.
It's a good cover. I didn't, to the point where I was like, Highway Star. What do I know Highway Star from?
Why does it sound familiar?
Why does that name sound familiar? But yeah, it's a cover of a Deep Purple song. I feel like I want to see more extreme metal bands do covers of like popular rock songs. And it's hard to do that now without people going like, why'd they do that? Are you selling out or something?
There is an album.
It's probably hard to find the rights to do that.
Sure. There's an album by a band that we've never talked about that we should have talked about a long time ago. And whenever we'll talk about new albums for them because their lead guitar player and vocalist is dead. Children of Bodom.
Oh yeah,
they made an album of just shit like that. An entire album,
just covers of why did they cover? Why did Children of Bodom cover this?
Children of Bodom do "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time"
because they can.
And you know what? I enjoyed it, and it's all covers like that. And it's not like them doing this other metal band.
Yeah. They were just doing.
They're doing Tiptoe Through the Tulips, really? Okay.
Alexi Laiho did what he wanted.
Yeah, he did. And he did it well.
Exactly. I'm trying to remember. It's not Children of Bodom. There's a death metal band called Necrophagist.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Where I think it was Rob Scallon basically said, like, I've always kind of thought that their music, if you put it on sheet, it looks like classical music. Like if you wrote it out in notation, it looks like classical music, but then, actually played, of course, it's extreme metal. To the point where he put in a MIDI track because there's a MIDI in Chicago. There is a MIDI controlled. That's not how they usually use it, but there's a massive organ in a cathedral in Chicago. But there's a massive pipe organ, which is still suggestive, in a theater in a church in Chicago, a cathedral, that has a port where you can plug MIDI into it.
Nice.
And it's a computer controlled gigantic pipe organ.
Nice.
And they played a Necrophagist song via MIDI on this pipe organ, and it sounded amazing.
I just want to know how many times somebody says, walking through the door, "I'm here to get a look at your massive organ." This way.
Follow me. Well, that's the thing about pipe organs that size, though.
Yeah.
Is you can't go this way, follow me. You go, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's the building.
It's the whole building.
Yeah.
Like,
as they're standing there gesturing and their dick is out.
It was this big. It was the hand gesture you did. It was just like sort of Italian, vaguely Italian gesturing. So yeah, that's what metal you're bestowing upon this Maskanata to Chewbacca.
It's gold. I mean, I know you probably won't think of it as gold. It doesn't probably.
I didn't write down anything. I didn't think about it until now, basically. I'll probably give it a silver just because I know I probably won't go back to this.
Right. Which I've gone back to it many times.
But I enjoyed my time with this. This was fine. This was good stuff. Yeah. This is fun. This is fun, but not silly all the time. There's some parts that's kind of, they're not taking themselves seriously, but it's still not like so silly that you go like, ugh. All right, come on. It's fun. We're just, fuck yeah, this is awesome, man.
Metal.
But next week. I believe that I actually can't remember the name of this. Fortitude, I believe, is the name of the album. And I think it's because the name comes from a ambient track that's before the chant.
Sure. Yes. Which is essentially just the chorus of the chant.
Yeah. Just done differently. God, it's such a fucking
It's
good
so
album.
Great.
So Gojira next week.
Gojira.
Then our first new Gojira album that we've been able to talk about.
Florida Gojira Line.
Thank you, Uncle Ben. Ben Eller, very funny guy that usually just does guitar lesson videos,
right?
But occasionally does a funny video on here's how to sound like this band. His Mastodon one is also very funny.
I haven't seen anything from him lately.
He might not be. He might have
maybe moved on.
I don't know. In any case, till next week when we talk about Gojira, find us on Facebook and on Twitter. We post episode links there if you want to listen on your browser, and you can get notifications when we do that, or just subscribe to our feed on your iOS device, your podcast app, or on the podcast source if you have an Android.
Indeed.
And don't have access to Apple Podcasts. So anyway, thanks for listening to this episode of the Bronze Metalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.